Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be talking about silver and why I sometimes wonder if the whole silver stacking industry is somewhat of a sham. Now, I'm not saying scam because that sounds a little bit worse, but I want to sort of explore this and think through it with you because it's not something I necessarily know the answer to, but I wanted to hear your opinions. Because one main thing that I've realized is if you want silver for utility, almost everything in front of us really does not make much sense. Now, it looks cool, it has that old school feel in some cases, like this Asahi refining, it's a 1 kilo silver bar. I think it's a pretty neat item. It looks like, something that would have been traded around in a bank vault, though in reality, I'm sure it's much larger when you think about the quantities of which coins were produced in the past. But then you get over to something like this Year of the Snake 2013, 5 troy ounces with a bunch of Chinese characters on the back, or you take a look at something like a MS69 NGC San Francisco Mint Silver Eagle, and you wonder, especially this America's Liberty Fleet 1988, with all these designs, this has to be marketed to people that are interested in silver and sort of like the idea, but this is very far away from its authentic use because none of these are really something that people accept with a ton of certainty. I mean, I could definitely make an argument, to see that people are accepting like Engelhard 10-ounce bars, if you get the right person who's looking to make some purchases, same thing, or accept it. Maybe something standardized like a 1-ounce silver, or if this was out of the slab, but so much of this seems, whether it's the NGC, and I'm a big fan of third-party grading, but this is more pertaining to the practices of like slabbing bullion. Whether it's the grading companies taking fees, it helps them, but it doesn't really help the end customer too much. Whether it's, I don't know who this is, let's see, Mooney Metals, this is a cool bar, but it certainly would have not have been poured like this, at least I don't think so, and people wouldn't have taken the time to stamp out, or maybe this is not the best example, but it's like these old school, it's made to look old school with like the natural pour look, and it's cool, but certainly nobody would be looking for Jaeger pours 0.5 of an ounce in a star shape to be transacting with, because silver and different types of silver coins were used for a long time as sort of accounts of money, but there's no place in the world right now that is really using gold or silver as a regular in terms of governments, regular, legal tender, something that's being traded with. So all of this sort of stuff then gets produced and shipped out and made to, send to somebody that's probably going to retail them. It's great for the silver companies, like the stacking. I'm thinking of places like APMEX or SD Bullion, JM Bullion, all of the bullion retailers, all of the, private mints. I'm not saying that they're bad or nefarious, but you have to think that it makes sense for them to have people excited about silver, whether it's going up or, honestly, it's good when it crashes down. So it's always good to have some major movement in it, things to be excited about, because that's what's going to keep transacting. None of the big silver companies, I guess they all want it to go up, but it's not like they're investing in silver. They're investing almost in the volatility or the market demand for people to own items like, this is my favorite example here, the silver bullet, 25 ounces of silver. It's sort of a crazy item, but, it is a lot of silver, and it's something that's exciting, but it's totally impractical for it to be manufactured in this silver way. If people really wanted to, again, hold it, I think this would be like the best example, but I would assume that banks aren't just going to be using like 1 kilo. They're probably going to go for like 1,000 ounce, or maybe it's like 10 kilos or, heavier than that. All of this, certainly any of this marketed like 1 ounce mini bars, it really doesn't strike me as the best way to invest in silver outside of keeping some on your personal possession. Now, the next step that would follow, like what's the best coins to stack with, I'm going to make a video on that. May have come out before this one comes out, but I don't love something like this. I think it's always good to just stick with the 90% junk silver. Franklin halves and Roosevelt dimes are the best, but I wouldn't sweat too much about how you're doing it. When premiums come back down, unslabbed American Silver Eagles are going to be your best bet. And that's more along the lines of how I think about it, because those are a little bit easier. You know, you don't want to have a stack like what I'm showing in front of me. It really doesn't make the most sense from like a, you know, doing well long term with stacking, keeping things simple, not having a lot of, you know, variables when you go to sell. Something like a bunch of silver eagles, let me reach over, like this, you know, that's a much easier thing. You just count them up, show it to the dealer that you have it, and then they know pretty much exactly where they're going to be paying for it. You know, in an environment like this is going to be going for a good bit over the spot price because the premiums are so high. But again, think about who's making, even the mint's making money on this product, and they retail it with some official retailers that always benefit off of you purchasing. Now, if you're also, you know, getting into the physical, depends. You have to think about, do you buy into the theories of, you know, there being a big scam going on in terms of price manipulation on the metals? I don't really. So maybe it makes more sense you eliminate a lot of the transaction costs to then buy paper silver. That's a whole other topic. You know, maybe I should do a video on the benefits of paper silver. Of course, it's not going to be on you if the world collapses, but since I store my stuff mostly in a safety deposit box, you know, I don't really have mine on me either. And, you know, it's almost as bad as paper silver from that perspective. But, you know, there's much higher transaction costs, even shipping this stuff or taking the time to go sell it versus being able to, you know, make plays on the price of silver from the safety and comfort of your home. Just a lot of different, maybe small downsides, but it just like has got me wondering, you know, it makes sense. All these companies want to always put out news so that you continue to purchase their products. Then it sort of helps, you know, the ecosystem, as, you know, it probably gets sold to local bullion dealers who, you know, are able to make money taking their cut out of it as they send it back to the big ones, and the cycle continues. You know, whether or not that's, I don't think it's like a horrible thing, but I just think it is something to be aware of, because at the end of the day, if you're purchasing this stuff with a intent for it to increase, you want to cut out a lot of the superfluous sort of things to get caught up in. If you're really just looking at it from a collecting perspective, completely different. And then I would say, like, go for the really high quality, you know, higher premium things like Engelhard. There's some like really much better Engelhard stuff, or you can even look at some of the other pours, like real vintage pours. Those are neat. Probably not the best use of money from a silver perspective, but just have a lot of cool history to them. So that brings us to the end of today. Let me know if you agree with what I'm saying. Basically, you know, how much do you think the sort of silver and precious metals companies are aligned with our interests? Do you think that it's something, you know, are they sort of helping the silver economy? I guess they are, by getting people excited about it so it keeps on going. But since this stuff does not cash flow and it's not really being used by governments to, you know, guarantee their currency or transact with, it makes you wonder if silver is sort of the same as it was in the past. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to stay updated. I've also got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, so you can follow me there. TreasureTownYT.com is the main channel website. Definitely give that a visit. I've got a lot of information about me up there and the channel. CoinGrabBag.com as well currently redirects there, but it's some good opportunities for very fair grab bags, both made by me and other sellers. A lot of different options, so that's a good way to support. There's also TreasureTownCoins.com. In the future, my coin dealing operation will be done out of that website. CoinMeltPrice.com for updates on the melt prices of your coins, both US and world. A lot of resources in that website. And then CoinsMetalsCards.com, being developed right now as a marketplace and news source for coins, metals, cards, and collectibles in general. So I'll see you on my future videos. Looking forward to seeing you there, and hope you have a good day.